Yep. I think we have two well-informed people on this call.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So did you want to go ahead and get into your interview or?
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about Detroit forever, but no one except us cares about that.
Right.
Right.
Hey everybody, what up though? It's your homie, the one and the only. And I have my friend right up here, Mr. Bruce. Say hey, Bruce.
Hello, everybody.
Hey you guys, Bruce, he's my first ever interview. So like if I mess up, you just gotta stick with me. And yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. This is gonna be fun. This is a good friend right here. So I'm excited to do this. I'm flattered that you agreed to do this with me. Like, no lie, honestly, truly.
Well, you've got a diagnosis at least. So, I'm honored. I'm honored that you would want to interview me. I just know I've got some symptoms. What can I share with the people who are your viewers about my situation and
um, because you don't have a diagnosis, I won't ask you what your condition is, but I will. How long have you been like experiencing like all the like symptoms or all the feelings that you have?
about 3 years. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming up on 3 years now. I had heart. Was one of the symptoms. I had heart disease. I had a heart attack when I was 40.
Mm.
And I'm 60 now. And it was because of being type A and not eating right and not exercising enough, as well as genetics. I had, it was pretty serious. I mean, it should have killed me about 3 times. So I had already developed a mindset that I'm a survivor, and I persist, and I adapt. That I don't have to be the smartest, strongest, or hardest working. I just have to be the best at adapting. And attitude of mind is really everything. It's the only reason I was able to stay alive. But I basically woke up, and over a period of just a few days, all the symptoms that I have onset. And they included difficulty with spatial awareness. Like I'd bump into walls and I'd wobble, like weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Except I did. I couldn't walk straight. It was really obvious that it was some lack of spatial awareness. I couldn't really describe it. My legs would hurt at night. I'd started getting incredibly sharp pains in one of my hips that were so shocking that I'd wake up screaming. One time, it actually happened when I was showing homes to a client. I'm a residential real estate broker. And I shrieked and collapsed and fell to the ground, writhing in pain. And they looked at me and thought I was dead.
Jeez Louise, I would have thought the same
Yeah.
thing.
And what's weird is those pains have stopped. They did brain scans. I like to say they did a brain scan. They found nothing. They didn't find any evidence of a stroke or anything like that. I started having short-term memory loss that seemed to be getting worse. And everything that I'm describing, I still have. The walking was bad. I had pain in my legs, pain in my knees. Instantly overnight, I had what would appear to be the symptoms of arthritis in my fingers. Just a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm really lucky. I've got a Cadillac medical insurance policy. I'm like one of the lucky few in this country. My wife is a professor at a community college, and she could make more at a major university, but one of the benefits is a really good set of benefits. So I married into that. So I've got the best doctors in San Diego, and
That's
my neurologist, after a period of months, asked me if and he said he couldn't diagnose me yet, but he wanted to know if I wanted to know what he thought we might be looking at. And like an idiot, I said yes. I should have said no, because he didn't have a diagnosis, right? But I said yes, and he said he thought that he was looking at ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, which is always fatal, usually within just 2-3 years. And it made sense. I have trouble projecting my voice, and I used to be really loud. I mean, I don't mean that I just talk over people and interrupt them. I still do that, but but I just spoke loudly and had to be reminded my whole life to lower my voice. Now it's not a problem. I can't even sing in the shower anymore because I can't. I don't get the. I don't have enough muscular control to control melody. Anyway, long story short, I basically didn't leave the house for 3 months because of self-grieving. It was utterly cathartic for my wife, who, our daughter Maya at the time was 6, and she's wondering how the hell is she going to hold on to the house and keep her and Maya in a good place, if I'm dead in a couple of years. And I was aware of that. And even though it's not an illness, whatever I have, it isn't something I can control, but if you feel guilty about it, you feel like, you're dying, and why is this happening to me now? And so, facing the loss of so much is, was a lot to bear. And then I found out I didn't have ALS. And coming forward to the most recent, more current period of time, my neurologists also said that of all the, hang on, I gotta find the right word. Of all of the symptoms I have, every single one of them can be applied to a checkbox for a particular, for one neurological disease or another. However, mine together do not fit into any one box. That's why there's no diagnosis. I'm either missing a symptom to qualify for a diagnosis, or I have too many symptoms to qualify for a diagnosis. I have symptoms that shouldn't be there. The other thing is that with all the symptoms I have, they're degenerative. They're getting worse. However, they're all getting worse at a much slower rate than if I had any of those diseases. And so it's a puzzle to them. And I let them worry about it. I go to my appointments. They want me to see a specialist, I'll see a specialist. If they want me to get scanned, I'll get scanned. I just get fatigued. I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. Fatigue is like fatigue is its own, like it's a whole different ball game for me. Fatigue is just like it's the one like symptom, like how like you can figure out a way to like finagle around like all the other symptoms, like anything else. Like this one, no, fatigue. No, fatigue, and then the insomnia, like with it, it's like they're constantly battling inside of me, like Pokemon or something. It's like insomnia is like, no, you can't go to sleep. And
I'm either in like I either have insomnia or I can't sleep enough. It's one or the other. There's no middle.
Yeah, definitely. It's just it's
fatigue itself is like, it's like I've learned something from it. I know that if I work a long day, and for me, some of my work is sitting here at a computer and doing things I got to do. But if I'm out showing houses or have to be out and about driving long distances, 50 minutes one way, 50 minutes back, showing houses in the middle, and then more stuff out later in the day. It takes me a couple of days to recover. So if I know that I'm going to have to do that, I don't do anything for a couple of days ahead of time. I just rest. I try to get naps in both days. I try to sleep longer than I need to,
Right.
so that the toll taken on me will be less than it would otherwise have been. But I can't always control it. So sometimes I do stuff and get fatigued, and I either have to do the things on my calendar the next couple of days, and then it'll take me 3 days to recover, or clear them off my calendar and say I can't do this.
Right. See,
And
because that's the thing. Like fatigue. Fatigue is just one symptom that I feel like just about it's like something that everybody across like any like with any chronic illness across the whole board can like definitely relate to, for sure, for sure. Like that's the bless you. That's the crazy part. It's like for it to be such a common symptom and everything, you would think like, okay, well, there should be like one for sure known like factual way to go ahead and combat fatigue, but it's like everybody is different, so everybody has their own like little different way of dealing with fatigue. Or some people choose just not to deal with fatigue. Like it's like if they're tired, they're gonna go ahead and just sit down and be tired, they're gonna lay down, maybe take a nap. Like shoot, I wish I could
there,
take a nap.
no, there have been days just within the last week, and it's not unusual, where even when I'm well rested and I sit down here at the computer to do some work, and by 1 or 2 o'clock, I'm
Mhm.
absolutely exhausted, and there's no way in God's earth I'm staying awake. And
Right.
and I've got plenty of witnesses, mainly my daughter and my wife, who who can see, who have observed me when I lie down. I mean, as soon as my head hits the pillow, in 15 seconds,
Mhm.
routinely I'm asleep, and it's immediately a deep, deep, deep sleep of total exhaustion.
Right.
I've never, until I had these symptoms, I never could comprehend how tired a human being could be.
Right. It's crazy. So do you feel like do you take any medications, and do you feel like they might like add to your like fatigue or anything?
Well, there aren't. It's really funny. Well, and it's not funny. It's sad. In neurology, the tools that they have are not. Neurology is the toughest area of medicine there is, because the tools they have is they can scan your brain or spine with X-rays or other types of scans, PET scans, CAT scans,
Mm-hmm.
or they can just make clinical observations. They can watch you walk. They can watch you fall. They can hit your knees with a hammer and see what your reflexes are like, and that's
Right.
about and that's about it. Um, um, there may be medications. There's, what do you call it? Aricept is a medication. It's in a family of medications for people that are experiencing memory loss, short-term memory loss, and it's usually for people that are older and either suffer from dementia or are on a path to dementia. And it's got side effects like, guaranteed to have diarrhea and other unpleasant stuff. And they said, well, I could prescribe it for you. And I said, why would I want that?
Right.
No, no, sorry. But in terms of actually treating, uh, and about 9% of people are helped by that medication. So it's got about a 91% non-success rate, failure rate. So no, I wasn't interested in that. There really aren't any medications I take for these symptoms. I do take 3 medications regarding clinical depression, which I've had for a very, very long time.
Mm.
Um, and uh, my doctor and I held off on medication as long as possible. I definitely wasn't someone who wanted more medication after all the medications I'm on for heart disease and blood pressure and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, ACE inhibitors. But when it got to the point where I needed to take that step, we got the right cocktail together. And it's been the difference is like night and day. Brian, if you had met me at the time, or just before I started using or taking the medication that my psychiatrist prescribed for me, you'd think I'm an entirely different human being.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was like passive aggressive. I could be mean to people. I was in a situation where I was just feeling dark. I had to get away from the most important parts of my life in order
Mm.
to feel like I could manage it, and which only made things, it made me sadder. Not that depression is sadness, but um, yeah. So I take medications for my heart, my blood pressure, to protect my internal organs. Um, I have a well-controlled case of type 2 diabetes, and I take medications for that and then the mental health meds, but I don't take anything for neurological issues.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Well, with all that being said, what's your state of mind like on this now? Like with your like just like your whole situation, like what's your state of mind on it? Is it like are you still like questioning things? Are you kind of like over it? Or like are you still looking for answers, stuff like that?
All I've really learned since then is that number one, it's been confirmed that some form of disease or something in my brain is causing me to be in the number one percentile of, um, of having spatial awareness and being able to, how do I say this? There were, remember that test, not the cognitive test, but the cognitive test that Trump had when he was president that he claimed he got extra credit on. It was the same test. You can't get extra credit, but a 100 percentile means you're the best that a human being can be. Even if you get down to 3 or 4 percentile, it just means you're bad at it, but it definitely means you do not have disease. At 1%, you have disease. So it was in the area of spatial awareness and in the area of looking at a series of drawings on a piece of paper. So they're two-dimensional, and initially being asked to duplicate it while looking at it. And then from memory, on subsequent occasions, as with other questions in between, from memory trying to duplicate it. And I'm as bad as a human being can be at that. And that's evidence. And I've taken that test twice over a year apart. And that's the one area where they know there's evidence of disease, but they don't know what it means. I mean, they don't know what the disease is. Just that the symptom is proof of something not being normal. And I made the decision some months ago to get off my butt, and whatever happens with me medically happens. I can't control that, but I can control how I respond to it. And so I just decided that I'm going to spend my time doing the things I love for the people I choose. People I love and care about, whether they're family, whether they're clients, whether they're friends, and just look for every next right action and do that. And that's what I've been doing. And I found that it brings me joy. It brings me fulfillment. And it doesn't keep any pressure on me about the medical stuff. I go to all my doctor's appointments. I've come a long way. When I first left the house after I thought I had ALS, I went to one of my happy places in the world, which is in the San Juan Islands up off the coast of Washington State. Because my wife said, if there's any place you want to go or anything you want to go do it.
That's good.
You want to do it with me? I'll take the time off. If you want to do it alone, go yourself. Whatever you want, go do. And I decided that I didn't know if I was going to have just one chance to do this or not. So I decided I better behave as if I only had one chance to do it. So I went up to where I went up to, and I was there about a week. And there's a place there called, it was on Orcas Island. You look it up on a map, you'll see it's off the coast of Northwest Washington State. And there's this, it's this pottery guild, an artisans guild, if you will. And I don't know what it is, but there's just been so much love put into the work that's been done there for decades, that you walk onto this extraordinary piece of property that abuts the ocean, and it feels like you're in heaven or some kind of magical Disney kingdom without them trying to take all your money. And I went there, one, because I knew I felt better when I was there. I wanted to experience that. But I also wanted to buy some gifts for my daughter that Bonnie could give to her at milestone dates in her life, her 10th birthday, if she has a bat mitzvah at her bat mitzvah, at her wedding, sweet 16, whatever it might be. And I also recorded, I probably recorded about 100 videos for her, which I still have, but to date, I have not given her any of the gifts, nor have I shared any of the videos with her. She'll be 10 in February, and I'm still here. So,
that's the good part.
Right. It's really weird it's a weird feeling to feel like, my God, you've had 4 or 5 times you really should have died, and you didn't. And if you don't learn from those experiences, that's really a waste. So I tried to learn really hard. Where I'm at now is, I'd be lying if I said I don't think about it, but all I can do is maintain the attitude, try to keep the attitude I want, adapt to whatever happens to my body or my mind or the way others perceive me, and try to decide what's the next right action, like in that very moment, and then do that. And I found that to be, my God, it alienates difficult, troublesome people faster than a fire, than a theater on fire. I mean, I bet you these things sound pretty familiar to you.
Yeah, honestly, truly, it's like everything that you're saying is like, it's like beautiful words, and it's so inspiring and everything. And it's just like, gosh, like this is my mindset. Like this is how I like really try to like approach things, look at things, think of things. Cause it's like I told my mom the other day, I was like, I'll just take it with a grain of salt. And she's like, no, don't take it with a grain of salt, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, what else do you want me to do? Like, in certain situations when you know that you can't change it, you just have to deal with it as best as you can, however you see fit, So it's like, yeah, it's like just like my favorite quote, like I tell people all the time, my YouTubers have already heard me say this a couple of times. Like Steve Harvey said, like, if you feel like you're going through hell, why would you stop there? You got to keep going. You got to see it to the end. You got to like make it out. You feel me? And I was just, it's like, that's just my motto.
No one else going to do it for us. I think the hardest part for me, it's really hard to, I don't want to say this, but the hardest part is that the people who are closest to me, like, I love my wife to the ends of the earth. But once she goes through a period where, she's seen me nearly dead from heart disease. She's seen me be told, dude, I think you might have ALS. She's seen me suffer, and she's had to do things to, she went through a series like over 6 months. She did everything she could to prepare and make managing a household more efficient for her. because she
Mhm.
anticipated that I was going to be gone.
Right.
And some people, once they're in that position of having anticipated the death, there's no other way to say it, and anticipated um, the changes, and then it's amazing. Suddenly, you don't die, and
Right.
it's hard for them. It can be hard for them. I mean, yes, they're grateful. Yes, they're happy, but they're also changed by what they went through, and it's hard for them to go back from
Yeah.
that. So I find that really sad. Sometimes, sometimes it can get under my skin.
Mm. Yeah, I understand that for sure. Cause even that, that's how I am with my dad a lot. Cause he, like he has his, like his health problems and everything, from like diabetes to like kidney failure and so on and so forth and everything. And it's like, it's always just in the back of my mind, like, Brian, today might be the day, today might be the day, like to the point where like he texts me every day, every morning, he texts me good morning, or every night he'll ask me, did I make it to work okay? Or like, the kids dropping for him, tuck her in, blase, blase. And it's like out whenever he's late on sending one the text, or like he's too busy doing whatever, and he doesn't send me a text right when I know that he's supposed to be sending me one. It's like my anxiety and paranoia just start going crazy, and it's like, oh my gosh, like my dad, I need to check on my dad, so I'll end up calling him. I'll blow
Right?
his phone up. I'll be like, hey, blah blah, is that and the other. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's just,
I,
it is what it is.
I don't know. It's hard sometimes to get treated like um, less than a full, a full physical human being, um,
Mm.
and I am. And yeah, there's limitations. It doesn't mean that I need to be coddled or want to be. Um,
Right.
if I experience the symptoms that I experience, even if they knock me off my feet for a couple of days, so what? I'm still the same person. I get to binge watch Criminal Minds or something,
Right.
Star Trek, whatever. I just end up doing different things. It's like I hang on a second. I want to think of the way I described it once to someone. I remember they were saying how sorry they were, and I said, "You need to be sorry. I have an opportunity now to experience life in a whole new way that I never would have gotten before." And and so it's not just about adapting. It's really about getting to experience all these new things. One of them was meeting you and having you comment on the cane, and the times we've spoken since then, leading right up to this moment. And this would never have happened if I hadn't gotten sick. So I think there's growth opportunity in between one's ears, no
Hmm.
matter what happens to you.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That was just that everything you said was just so beautiful, for real, for real. I just I don't even know what to say after that. That was really beautiful. Like I think
Uh,
I'm trying to hold back the tears just a little bit. Like I
don't
can
don't
see the vein
don't
on my
hold
forehead
don't
popping
hold them
out right
back. I
now.
cry all the time. Um,
This has been like such an amazing interview. I'm so glad that you did this. And like, I really, really, really love the way that you like articulated everything, like explaining like just like your mindset, explaining like all your like troubles, your trials and tribulations with your symptoms and everything. Even with you not having a diagnosis, like you know a lot, and that's saying a lot, because there's some people who have a diagnosis and still don't understand all the way, like what all it entails, what it means, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, things they should avoid, blase, blase. But like, no, this is a really great interview. I'm so glad you did this with me. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I can't believe I'm your first interview. That I would think that um, I don't know. I know a ton of people who are going through similar things. And maybe I'll put a couple of them in touch with you. Thank you for your words. Those are really kind. I think I wrote you in an email as we were setting this up. If it takes us an hour and what we do helps one person for 10 seconds feel a little better, it's worth it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's the whole mission. That's the goal, the whole
Yep.
goal of the mission. Like, just to it's not just to improve me or help me feel better. No, it's to help any and everybody, as many people as I can, to feel better, to think better, to anything, just any type of better, just everybody level up. We're not all on the same levels, and that's perfectly okay. Just as long as we're going up and up and up. You feel me? That's all that matters to me.
The best way for me I found the best way for me to feel better is to take care of other people, especially when they don't expect it. And if anybody's out there watching, exercise blind faith and do that and watch what happens.
I like that one.
Thanks for having me on, Brianna.
No problem. No problem. Let's go ahead and sign out. So you guys, you just got to watch me and Mr. Bruce's really cool interview. This was a great interview. I really hope I get more people to sign up to do interviews now. I can't wait to go ahead and get started on editing this and putting it all together, chopping it and everything. It's gonna be such an amazing video. I promise you. Oh man, this is great.
I love your energy, Brianna. It's just wonderful. Every time I see you, I feel better.
Thank you. I'm glad that I can do that for you.
You do. All right.
But well, okay, we gotta do this sign off together.
Yeah.
So right. You guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for me. And always remember to stay safe, stay clean, and that Brian and Mr. Bruce loves you. Bye.
Let's get it. Yeah, they call them big breezes.
When people see you in control of your own life and you're going to do this on your terms and you don't kowtow to them, the people that want control over you flee. It also causes me to become much more efficient at every little thing I do, because my body is at a point where efficiency, like little tiny micro efficiencies, the habit of finding little tiny things each day that I can do a little differently to save energy, to save time, to delegate or not do it all,
right.
Makes my life better.
Right. That's good. That's good. So
I got rid of the blur. I was I was looking kind of funny there.
But so it's cool with me. That's the thing. I thought about putting a background around me, and then I was like, that's pushing it, Brianna. Just calm down. This is your first interview.
Yeah. I just don't worry about it anymore. I'd rather spend my time doing the things that I like to do. I think I told you that I was passing through Nashville on the way to Huntsville, Alabama, where I've been doing some real estate investing and helping others do the same. And that's a kick in the butt. I like that. I love doing something. Next time I'm in Detroit, I don't know if it'll be in the summer, but we got to get to a Tigers game. And you saw me walking with a cane and expressed, well, here's the neurological thing. I can't think of the word. Empathy. You expressed some empathy. I can't remember what your precise words were, but I picked up on it, and the rest is history, my friend.
Yeah, that's basically how it went. And that's the thing, I looked up, I had stopped to tie my shoe, and usually I don't stop in the lobby and sit there to tie my shoe. I'll either go finish walking into the back, or I'll just be like, forget it. I'm just sitting at the front desk. I don't need to tie my shoe. I'm not getting up to walk.
Right.
But like, no, like I sat down, tied my shoe, and I looked up to tell you good morning. And I seen your cane, and something just told me, like, Breon, you should say something. And I was like, okay, I'll say something. Like, hey, I like your cane. And it just, because it reminded me of my cane that I had when I had I had this one relapse where like my foot just kept dragging. It wasn't cooperating with what my brain was trying to tell it. So I was just like, oh, like it brought back, like, as weird as it sounds, it brought back nostalgia because it made me remember, like, my friend Darnell, he took me to like the Tigers game, and we walked all across downtown, even though I had a limp and like my foot kept dragging and stuff.
Mhm.
And like, so yeah, something told me like, hey, Breon, you got to say something. Like, just look up, say it.